Hey, what up though?
Detroit is out cold.
Take 313. We here now.
What up, though?
What up, though? What's good with you,
What's
man?
going on, X?
Chilling. I'm chilling, man. Another day, another dollar, man. How you feeling?
Another day, another dollar, another
For sure.
F, baby. Hey, man, I can't wait till later on in the episode when we have our guest, special guest from my town, from G-Rap, young man, Ramere Draper, kid that played JV last year, could have played varsity for Wyoming, rather stay down on JV with his guys and work on his game. Young man averaged 25 points a game last year on JV. Had a 49-point game and a 36-point game on JV. Turn around, first year playing varsity this year, he's averaging 23 and 12 as a junior. First year on varsity, first 11 games of the season. Can't wait.
I didn't know he was averaging. I know you showed me his highlight tape before we start rolling. He was looking very sweet. I didn't know he was averaging 23 and 12. That's impressive.
Yeah, 23 and 12 at 6'4".
Yeah, most definitely. It'll be a good one, man. It'll be a good one. But yeah, let's get into it, man. I had a quick reminder actually from last episode. When we ended off last episode, when I was asking you and everybody, actually, we had a couple people that responded in with some stuff. But what was one thing that you would change as far as if you can make any type of adjustment to the NBA, whether it be the rules? Mine was pertaining to rules, which I'll get into in a second. The rules, anything about the game in particular, but the one thing that I was going to suggest, and tell me, I've been seeing this on the internet, I think it'd be a good idea.
Okay.
So last couple weeks, we saw Utah Jazz playing Donovan Mitchell when he got ejected. Like when they were playing, they had like a close game. I don't even remember who they were playing. Donovan Mitchell gets ejected. Obviously, that's the star player for the Jazz, so that's a game changer. You know what I mean? We've seen it where there's been guys who've gotten texts and kicked out. We've seen it with Draymond. Draymond had to miss a game in the finals. You know what I mean? Like for the same reason. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot that can ride on players getting texts. And one thing that I think would be a good idea is, what if the NBA started issuing like a penalty box? Not necessarily somewhere where a player would get teched up and kicked out. And when I first heard it, I was kind of like, that's whack. But then when I thought about it, I was like, imagine if, though, a player could just maybe have to take a couple possessions out of the game, 2 minute, 1 minute, couple, 3 possessions, like any way you want to put it, but it wouldn't result in the other team getting automatic points like technical free throws do. It wouldn't result in a player, especially if it's an impact player, getting tossed out of a game like we just saw with Donovan Mitchell. You know what I mean? Like, I think that would be something helpful. You know what I'm saying? Penalty box. And if you get in a penalty box, okay, small fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that'd be something that'll be beneficial to the league, just to take some of that referee impact away, because it's been big lately, and I don't really think it should be. What do you think about that?
Well, I actually think that's pretty good idea. It's out of the box. And it's something that another sport used to kind of fuse issues between players as well, So
Right.
I think whatever we can do to protect our game from the refs, because sometimes the refs really do a bad, poor, horrible job at reffing games. And we want the players to, at the end of the day, be the main primary result of the win and the loss, not the refs. So,
Yeah.
Hey, that's a good idea, X. Very good idea, X.
Yeah,
We got Tony.
I just,
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, I was just about to say, I just think it's like, I was just gonna piggyback off what you said. It's just it's too much of an impact that the refs can have. What was he about to bring up from Tony?
No, just saying. Tony from IG said that he would change those foul calls that the refs are calling when people are shooting the three and kicking their feet out.
Oh, I'm not mad at people drawing fouls though.
Reggie Miller started that bull crap right there, bro.
But people, like, some people get fouled like that, but they just shoot like that. Like, some people just shoot like that. Like, some people, like, I'm trying to think of an example. JJ Redick, right? when he shoots threes, he naturally shoots moving towards the basket. You know what I'm saying? So if his natural shot is moving towards the basket and he's shooting and you get too close in his airspace, it's a foul.
True. Again, at the end of the day, man, now the players have to change their game to adapt to how the refs are calling that particular game.
Yeah.
Because you can have one set of refs calling the game this way tonight. They're in Philly the next night, calling it totally different. And that's what messes up the game.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Let the players be the telltale sign of who's going to win. How the players play on the court, man. Not the refs calling these calls. Again, the same thing with refs with, I don't like that James Harden gets 30 free throw shots at some games, like when he goes off for, 40, 50 points. I'm like, some of them are fouls. Some of them are not fouls, and everybody knows he's trying to draw fouls. Sometimes they still allow shots to be called fouls in crunch time to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, let the players play, man. Come on now. If they foul him on the shot, go ahead and give it to him. But a lot of times, man, hard to get 3-point plays, man, in the crunch. Not necessary this year. But, the last couple of years, and I'm pretty sure that's what you're talking about, right? Like, the last couple of years, how the refs have just messed up close games, man. And as fans, we don't like it. So, yeah, I think that's a great idea, nephew.
Yeah, I feel it. I feel you 100%. The only thing I disagree with, though, a little bit of a switch of a topic, but I'm not mad about somebody like James Harden who get all those free throws. Like, it's kind of a skill at that point to be able to manipulate the defense into fouling you and then still be able to get the shot up. You know what I mean? Like, at that point, it's more of a tactic. Like, it's a tactical advantage. It's more of an IQ battle and a skill. So taking that away is kind of being like taking away just a skill and an IQ advantage. Like, it's not like he cheated, you know what I'm saying? Or like
it's not, because he's not calling it himself. So
right.
It's a skill, obviously. But at the same time, he's not necessarily fooling the defense. That's what I'm saying. I've seen some plays. He's fooling the refs. And I'm like, the refs already knows what he does. People have talked about it in all kind of circles. So I know the refs are hearing those things about how he manipulates them to get those calls. So,
okay,
hey,
so I got a question.
If you can manipulate the ref, so be it. You do what you do to get your team to win.
So are you saying that Harden, when he gets to the free throw line like that, are you saying that he is not really getting fouled, but making it look like he's getting fouled for the refs? Or are you saying he's like intentionally getting fouled and then forcing the ref to call it?
I think it's a little bit of both. As an offensive player, sometimes you do go down there and force a ref to call it. I'm not going to shoot this 10-foot jump shot. I'm going to fake it, and I'm going to the basket strong. You do that to force them to call that call. So,
right.
No, it's a little bit of everything. You know what I'm saying? Because there's games that James Harden has 20 free throws. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes during those games, I've seen calls that I was like, that's bull. You know what I'm saying? But again, he's created the opportunity to get that love from the refs. Man, he's James Harden now. And I mean, they're trying to do their jobs, but I think sometimes they get in the way. That's why I said I think that's a good idea that you had to kind of put a stop to some of those late game issues that we have as fans of the NBA.
Right. No, I feel you. Yeah. I can't disagree with that. I do think superstars get some calls just because, but I do think he actually is getting fouled, and I think it's a skill. We don't got to keep talking about James Harden shooting 20 free throws, though. It's boring enough to watch. We don't got to bore everybody and talk about it. Okay, but look though, I had a start bench cut.
Okay.
That I want to ask you.
Okay.
It's a little bit off the wall. I know last time we did just point guards. All of these players were at one point a 6-man.
Okay.
All right. So we got Jamal Crawford, Manu, and then we got a throwback. I'm glad you got the hat on. Vinnie Johnson.
Ooh. I I'm gonna probably go with right off the rip. I'm gonna go with instinctively I would want to go with Crawford, but he hasn't won any championships. And to me, Ginobili is just as good as him. Different kind of player though, a little bit though. So I'm gonna go with Ginobili off the rip because he was impactful, great player, great teammate, and he's won championships.
So he's the starter. So start bench cut. You saying Manu was the starter?
Definitely.
Okay.
I'm gonna bench. My bench is going to be Crawford. I just think Crawford is an amazing player that never really got the love that he deserves, man. He was as good as any two guard that played during the times he played. You know what I'm saying? Even if you want to say off the bench, he was, to me, every year he played, he was, besides the older years, and he still had his last game as an NBA player, he scored 50 points. His last game as an NBA player, he scored 50 points last game of the season. 50.
Yeah, that was Phoenix, right?
This guy is he's about numbers, man. He puts up numbers, man. And as an NBA fan, you love how he does it because he does it in good fashion. The reason you watch the NBA is to see some of those kind of handles and long jump shots and crossovers and offensive skills. He had a barrage of offensive skills. And so that would make him second to me. And it's hard to think of many people being better than Vinny as a six man because Vinny.
I just knew you was about to pick up Vinny.
Nah. And it's just because I think that Crawford could have did the same thing or even better in those years. It probably would have been even ugly, truthfully. You know what I'm saying? With his game. But Vinny was a go-getter guy. We all know that. Anybody that know the Pistons know Vinny gonna come in and get you 15, 20 or some games you need him. But again, Vinny wasn't necessarily a defensive player. Neither was Crawford. Vinny wasn't necessarily a rebounder, although he got timely offensive rebounds and putbacks. You know what I'm saying? That was something that Vinny did do. But it's just, again, who I want to go to. Vinny, the 6-footer that can score, or Crawford, 6'5", 6'6", that can get it. It can get it from outside, inside, drives. I'm kind of going to lean towards Crawford, even though Vinny got the championships. It's hard.
I'm gonna do it in addition to that question. What if I replace Vinny Johnson with Tony Kukoc? Is he still getting cut?
Is who still getting cut? Tony Kukoc?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say yes, man. And I like Tony Kukoc. You know what I'm saying? But when Tony Kukoc was a six man, you know what I'm saying? When he was a six man, your man was as good as him, for sure. Crawford was as good as him.
Yeah.
I think by the time he became a starter, he became a different kind of monster. You know what I'm saying? But as a six man, he was solid, obviously. But Crawford, man, again, this dude, 15, 16 season, he put up 50 his last game in the NBA. And I'll say while we're talking about him real quick, he should have been on another team last year and this year. He should have been on somebody's team. You can't tell me it's that many two guards on people's benches, 9, 10 deep, that is as good as that kid. You know what I'm saying? Come on now. You know what I'm saying? But again, when we talk about him, we only talk about one side of the ball. So maybe that's one reason why they're holding him back. But, the league is full of people that don't play defense.
I was just about to say, who's really locking up like that?
That's what I'm saying. So I'm like, why wouldn't he get picked up when he showed you he still can get buckets?
Yeah. No, I feel you.
You think he can't do what Mo Williams is doing? I mean, I'm sorry, not Mo Williams.
Lou Williams?
Lou Williams.
Yeah. Shout out to Mo Williams, though. He was a bucket, too. But, yeah.
Mo Williams, coaching now. He's coaching.
Mo Williams?
Yeah, he's coaching
Where?
college. I can't remember which college they were just talking about.
I wasn't even hip. I'm going to do some research. I wasn't even hip. Shout out to Mo Williams.
They were just talking about him the other day.
Shout out to Mo. I was just talking to somebody the other day about like some of the best one-man teams ever. And I was talking about, like, during that conversation, I was talking about, matter of fact, next episode, we're going to talk about that.
Okay.
Next episode. I ain't even going to go into it. Next episode, we'll bring it up. Best one-man teams. So remember that. I'm going to put some notes down. We'll go over that next episode.
Teams. Okay.
Yeah, best one-man teams. But Yeah. So we talked a lot about this 6-man thing. Talked a lot about Jamal Crawford not playing no defense. I came across something else though when it comes to defense that I wanted to ask you about.
Okay.
All right. So we're gonna talk about guards, wings, and bigs, right?
Okay.
For each of those three spots on the floor, who is the best defender ever? Let's start with guards. Who is the best?
Wings, and big men.
Yeah.
Well, guard, I'm gonna go with Mike. Mike at my guard as far as defensive.
Okay.
There's a couple of people I could have went GP. I could have went, a couple of players that were defensive guards. Byron Scott was a good defensive guard. There was a lot of championship
Joe
guards.
Dumars.
Joey D. You know what I'm saying? To me, Joey D played as good defensive as anybody. But it was something about
that's Mike's
intensity when it came to defense. Mike was intense defensively. Like, he was intense offensively, but he was just as intense defensively. You know what I'm saying? You can get a guy that, to me, is, still the GOAT, that isn't all just about offense, but is defensively driven as well. It's hard for me to go anybody. I see Mike lock cats down. But we could have went GP. We could have went Dumars. We could have went Kobe. Different guards that we could have went. Who do you think?
I also had Jordan. I did give special consideration to Tony Allen. Yes. I gave special consideration to Gary Payton. I gave special consideration to Joe Dumars.
Gotcha.
So those were some of the people who I just thought about when I was just giving like honorable mentions. But I feel like the guard, I think Mike is a fair answer. I don't think you can go bad there. Let's talk about the wing.
Well, wing, it's kind of easy for me at wing, man. I'm gonna go Pippen.
Okay.
Pippen, man. Pippen used to check the 1 through 4.
Okay.
He was great one-on-one defense. He was great help defense. He was great playing the passing lanes. He was a great defensive communicator to his team. He talked, let people know where they need to be, and he was just there, man. And defensively, man, again, he was on the 1 through 4 all the time, not just every once in a while. I remember a couple of years he played. No, man, anytime, because Mike couldn't check all the best defenders. I mean, the best offensive players. So of course they were trying to pip on them first. But some teams had a guard and a forward that was nice. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, okay, Pip. Pip was a monster defensively, man. And I think that's why I like his game so much, because there was a lot of times when I was kind of upset with him offensively, but I could never be upset with his defensive intensity.
No, I'll give it to you. I'm not mad at that. I definitely gave special consideration. I actually thought Scotty as well. It was close to me though. I had a couple people who I thought about. I thought about Kawhi. Obviously, Scotty was a player that can guard multiple positions as well. Bruce Bowen was a great wing defender back in the day. There's been a bunch. There's been a bunch of guys with a lot of clamps. Ron Artest was crazy on defense. Like, it's been a lot. Last position I want to talk about is big man. Okay. Now, a couple of the people that I'm gonna say, I'm interested to hear what you think. 2 of them are pretty similar. Actually, I'll go first since you went first the last couple times.
Go ahead.
So my winner I picked was Ben Wallace, right?
Okay.
We seen him slow Shaq tremendously in the finals, which is a one-on-one for the most part too, which was phenomenal at his size, how he was able to stop dudes. He was very strong. The defense was just going to be off the chain with him on the floor playing the center position. I got a couple of people though. Draymond Green. That prime Warriors mid 2010s, like 2014 through 2016, he was legit guarding. Now it's not a bunch of 7-foot bigs like there was in the 90s and 80s.
Mm-hmm.
He guarded 1 through 5 though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He guarded 1 through 5. I like to think about just how much better their defense was with and without him on the floor. You know what I mean? They had like a top defense in the league, and they had Steph Curry out there. You know what I'm saying? And he was making that up. So I had to give him some consideration as well. You got to think about dudes like Dikembe who just protect the rim. You know what I mean? But I just think his ability to only guard one position really will kind of take him out as far as just the best defender ever. But what'd you have on the list?
Oh, you just spoke them up, man. There's a couple guys out there that I agree with you. There's a number of guys that we can put in that position that defensively were well-rounded and well-respected because when it came time to playing defense, they were on top of their game. Dennis Rodman being one. Now, he's not a big. Bigs are usually centers. But I got to put Dennis Rodman name in anything that involves being big and defense.
That's a good answer.
Dennis Rodman was a beast. But he's not my guy. I'm also go with Wilt Chamberlain. And I had a conversation with somebody a short time ago, and they kind of gave me a little knowledge on Wilt and his defensive prowess. Again, whenever I thought of Wilt Chamberlain, I always thought of scoring and rebounding and just being dominant. To me, he was the next most dominant player besides Shaq in NBA history, But yeah, I heard, that his shot blocking ability was unbelievable too. They just weren't they didn't always keep track of the shot blocks when he first started playing. But then when they did start keeping track, people just really didn't talk about the shot blocking because he was just so amazing with scoring and rebounding. So I got to give Wilt the love as well once I heard some of his numbers. And it doesn't surprise me. He was a natural athlete that was just, above and beyond most of the athletes in his time. Lastly, I'm going to go with the guy that was my winner in my eyes, is Mutombo. Mutombo, like you said, he couldn't cover every position out on the floor in their area. But he guarded every position when they came to the basket. They had to come to the basket to get to the basket.
Yeah.
And Mutombo made a living off telling people, ain't no coming to the basket when I'm down here. Couldn't no guy do that if he really wasn't really blocking. Mutombo is in the Hall of Fame, isn't he?
I think he got in there a couple years ago. Honestly.
Yeah. And again, some of that had to do with his duties that he's done across the world in Africa and things of that nature as well. But a lot of it was game. You know what I'm saying? And he wasn't a scorer. So if he wasn't a scorer and he gets the love that he gets from players and fans of the NBA, it's all revolved around defense, man. Mutombo, you weren't going to just get easy dunks. You weren't going to the basket and just going to, fillet. Yeah, that wasn't happening. He was tossing that out to the stands, and you had to come correct going in there with Mutombo. So just made me respect him because he wasn't the biggest guy either. He was tall, but he wasn't the biggest guy, You would think he can get pushed around a little bit, especially back in the days when those big boys used to be down there. But nah, Mutombo, man, he had to be strong as a tree because nobody moved him.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not mad at the Mutombo pick. I just couldn't name him one because I cannot imagine Dikembe switching out onto the wing to guard a pick and roll if he hooped today. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't imagine him closing out short on the 3-point line and then cutting off the baseline on somebody trying to drive past him. I don't. Maybe he could do it, but I don't know. But we'll see. I think we had similar lists though.
I was surprised that we had similar lists as much with you doing Mike and Scotty.
Yeah, I had to. I'm still surprised that you didn't pick Vinnie Johnson as 6 man. You know what I'm saying? I had to throw some old heads on the list because I know you like to be biased towards the old heads.
Vinnie a beast, man. I think Crawford was special. Plus, he's a Michigan guy, man. He's a Michigan guy. I got go blue.
Shout out to Michigan. Even though they just lost to Michigan State not so long ago, but shout out to them. Them boys got that Big Ten title.
Man, second year in Juwan's time there. Second year, man. Shouts out to Juwan Howard, man.
Yeah.
Way to represent, bruh. Young fella. You know, coming from the league, going to your the school that you grew up at, that you helped put on the map with the Fab Five, and bringing a Big Ten championship in the second year, man. And you know he got the #1 class coming in next year.
Yeah, he's been doing a great job. He's actually like he was already a U of M legend.
Yeah,
he's definitely a Michigan legend now. You know what I'm saying? After he's came back and coached them boys up like that, they look good. They look good. They've been looking good. Shout out to him. Yeah, I don't even know how we jumped into that, but shout out to Michigan though. Oh, Jamal Crawford being from Michigan. But yeah, shout out to Michigan. Shout out to Michigan. Real quick, I know we've been talking a bunch of hoops. We got some more hoops to talk about. Our guests, we're gonna talk about hoops as well. Real quick though, I know you saw that bag that Dak just got.
Yeah, man, that was a bag and a half, nephew.
That's a bag. That's like 5 bags.
Man, 4 years, 164.
That's 164 bags.
Million. and again, the crazy thing is, you know, we've been talking for almost 3 years now, knowing this time is coming up. And again, they made sure that they didn't want to pay him last year, so they franchised him. But it would have cost far too much to franchise him again. So they went ahead and took care of him. But the crazy thing is, why even go through all that if you didn't believe that man was the man to control the destiny of your team, you should have already seen that the last couple of years of how he plays. But everybody got paid before him. You know, everybody got paid before him. Now, when he goes out, look what type of team they end up being this year. Dude, I mean, it just makes me kind of bring it all the way back full circle and be like, what's the problem, man? Why aren't you paying him? You know, you paid Tony Romo and he wasn't crap.
I can't disagree. I think sometimes when they like why they may have hesitated on paying him and why they tagged him, you know what I'm saying, just to kind of keep him at bay for another year. But I don't know. Sometimes they do have to, like, who else would they have tagged to push him off? You know what I'm saying? Like, and pay that money. You don't know how long you'll keep a running back. You know what I'm saying? If you push off Zeke till next year and then he gets hurt and he's like no longer the same running back, you know what I'm saying? You can't get that time back. So maybe that's why they held off on tagging and on paying him.
A running back, nephew. You can always find a running back. Look at Zeke now. What did Zeke do last year? You know, Zeke probably averaged about 70 yards last year, and they needed him to get a 100-yard back. So, and that's the whole thing about the NFL when it comes to running backs. It's like, you know, I used to kind of shun when I heard people in a sports background talk about running backs. And, you know, they're a dime a dozen, and, you know, you can still find a great running back in the 5th round. Hey, it's true. You know, it's true. Those 5th round running backs are guys that had 1,500 yards a season before. You know what I'm saying? In college. So, you know, of course, Zeke was the man, but my thing is, and like people that count your pockets always do in sports, man, he ain't worth all that money. You can't give everybody all that money.
Yeah.
They ain't going to keep going hard with all that money. Man, that looked exactly like how Zeke has been since he got that big contract.
Right.
He's been steadily falling off. So you can always find a running back. Matter of fact, they had a nice young running back last year.
They did.
Yeah,
that's true.
So, but man, get that man that money, man. You know he deserves it.
Yeah, I'm never gonna hate on players like when they get that bag. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna hate on it too much. You know what I'm saying? Do what you do, get the money. Like people hated on Rudy Gobert when he got that big bag for the Utah Jazz this season. So I'm not gonna hate on no player trying to get that bag, man. Get that money. Hey, do what you do. Do what you do. No, most def. Unc, man, I didn't even realize how long we've been chopping it up, man. We've been on here for a little minute now.
Been a great show, man. Most
definitely, man. We got some stuff that we wanted to get into today. Definitely that stuff that happened with Myers Leonard. I think that was yesterday with the comments he made. So we'll make sure we talk about that. We'll be coming back as well with a couple other ideas that we had as far as some stuff that we would like to see change. And we'll read off some of the comments we have from over the last episode as well, as far as some of the changes that we wouldn't mind seeing in the league too. So next episode, we'll make sure to come with those. And we'll be talking about that best one-man team. Don't forget about that one for next time too.
Definitely. Right now, man, this is like my favorite part of the show, man, where we doing player spotlights. So I'm definitely glad to welcome to the show, Grand Rapids own Pride and Joy, Ramere Draper. What up, though?
What up, though?
What's going on, nephew?
Man, I'm chilling, man. I'm happy to be here. You see, I got the ready set
TV.
Today.
Got that merch ready already.
Hey, look, I know that y'all see, man, that we got a special guest with us here. I'm gonna let you bring him in, man.
Hey, man, I just want to make sure I let everybody know, man. Shout out to Ramere Draper for being a part of the show today. We appreciate you being a part of the show, young man. Ramere is from my home city, Grand Rapids, a young baller, junior class of 2022. Young man is playing his first year of varsity ball, putting up 23 and 12 a game at the P4 position. 23 and 12 his first year. Ramere, how's it going?
Good.
All right, man. So tell me, how's everything going? How's the season going this year so far?
It's going pretty good. We're like 6-6. We haven't been winning that much, but we're doing good.
Okay, 6-6. Okay. So have you been at Wyoming your entire 3 years?
Yeah.
Okay. And who's your coach there?
Tom Vanderclay.
Tom Vanderclay. Yeah, I used to hope somebody named Vanderclay. But yeah, man, we definitely glad to have you here on the show with us, man. 23 and 12. We was just looking at some film before we got on here, and looking at your game, man. And gotta say that we're very impressed. We only know, as far as the show goes, as far as hoopers from Grand Rapids, Unc is the only person we know. So we didn't really think people from Grand Rapids could hoop like that. So we definitely glad to see how many buckets you've been getting, how you've been playing out there. We definitely like your playing style and the way that you hoop. What current player or players would you say kind of you model your game after?
Probably like Kyrie and Katie mixed together. Basically.
Okay.
That's very tough. Very tough. Jeez, Kyrie and KD. So we saw obviously some film. We'll get into some in a minute. So obviously we know you've been putting time into your game. You know what I mean? You don't just walk in the gym, put up 23 and 12 without putting any extra work in. Give us a little bit of an example as far as what that work looks like for you. Like, what are you doing to master that craft?
Basically like staying extra hours in the gym and shooting as many shots as I can till my arms get tired, and working on my handles every day and make sure I lift weights and stuff to keep my body right.
Most definitely.
Okay. So, let me ask you this, Ramere. What do you think is the best attribute of your game?
Probably attacking, because I can finish well.
Finish at the rim?
Mm-hmm.
And I had somebody tell me low key that you're a defensive player as well, man. And that goes a long way with being able to play both sides of the ball. So, do you put just as much energy defensively as you do on O?
Yeah, I try to. Like, when I play defense, I try to play as hard as I do on offense.
Okay. Now, again, how X was saying, he's from this side of the state, Detroit. So, I love being able to allow, the Detroit crowd to get a chance to know what's going on with our Grand Rapids ballers, man. Again, me being from G-Rap, I know that, we've been a city full of ballers my whole life. And now, since I'm an old fella, I know now that the young fellas are still coming around and keeping that GR moniker where it needs to be, man, at a high standard. So I say that to say, can you tell me and tell our viewers just what type of ballers come out of Grand Rapids right now, man?
Like what type of Players or like who?
Yeah, what type of basketball players come out of Grand Rapids? What are you seeing right now with your fellow high school players that are on a high level like yourself?
I see like a lot of good players that come out because from all the other schools that I play, it's usually like one good player that you can tell that's like going to end up going somewhere or playing at the next level because they're just as good as I am or better.
Okay. And again, as you only being a junior, you got a whole nother year. So tell me, what part about your game do you want to continue to progress? So as you come into your senior year and through your senior year, the love for the game will take you to the next level. Tell me, what part of your game do you feel like you need to work on throughout this junior year and into your senior year to get you ready for collegiate play?
Probably my pull up mid range because I have that shot a lot of times, and I like to choose my like shot selection. So when I go there, I can pull up at any moment.
Okay.
Definitely. So we've been talking about a lot about the present. I want to take it back a little bit, man. I know you've been balling for a little while now, obviously putting up big numbers, but where did you get the love for the game at?
It was just always around me because like here we got this tournament named the Gus Macker. I always go to past tournaments, and I watch them play, and it just made me want to play ever since.
No, I feel that. Gus Macker is kind of legendary. Some good ballers have hooped in the Gus Macker tournament.
Oh, yeah. No question. Tell me this. Again, I also have heard that you're a 3-sport star. Those 3 sports happen to be basketball, of course, which we're talking about this evening, football, and track. Tell me, which is your favorite, which is your second favorite, and your least favorite, and why?
Basketball because I just think I'm the best at basketball out of the 3. And my second would probably be football because I like to play it and I like to hit people a little bit.
So at 6'4", what position are you playing in football right now?
Wide receiver and cornerback.
You playing corner at 6'4"?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
so it's good to see that you're focused. And again, the one good thing about continuing to play a variety of sports is that it keeps you ready, keeps you in shape. You continue to learn how to be coached. And that's very important when you're thinking about your next step, which is college. Tell me, what college did you aspire to attend?
My dream college is probably Duke because I always wanted to go there. But like, I'll probably end up going to whichever one that like tells me to like gives me the best options for me and like that help me show my game and get me to the next level, basically.
Okay.
Most def. Hey, so Ramere, I also wanted to make sure to ask. We talked about obviously that you feel like a Kyrie KD mix. That's a nasty mix, by the way. What were some of the players that you always looked up to as a kid, when you first started watching the game?
My favorite player that was always my favorite player was Kyrie. Like every time
it
would be Kyrie.
What part about Kyrie games makes him your favorite?
His handles and the way he finishes.
Okay. So, speaking of handles, I know, high school is a little different. You can be, like you said, you're 6'4", you playing the P forward. It kind of always depends on what kind of squad you're playing at. I'm pretty sure you won't be playing power forward at the next level. So are you working on other parts of your skills to be prepared to play a guard? And if you are, what parts are you working on more than others? What you think the best part of your game at the next level?
I'm trying to focus on my handles and dribbling because I know once I'm like in college and stuff, everyone's gonna be taller than me. So I can't just like go in the paint and just do what I do. So I know I gotta work my handles and my jump shot.
So Ramere, one question that we always like to ask, man, we know obviously as a junior, your time to approach the collegiate realm is approaching. let's pretend that me and Unc James are the college of your choosing. Let us hear your sales pitches as far as what you can bring to a college program and what type of stuff you can bring to the table.
Well, basically, I work hard and I hustle to every rebound, and I can score. I can pass. I can basically do it all. I can play defense, basically.
So what type of teammate are you?
I'm a good teammate. I try to motivate my teammates as much as I can to make sure, like, even if we is losing, that I keep our heads up and make sure that, like, everyone good so we can come back or whatever.
Okay. Most def, man. We love to hear that from you, Ramere, man. We have obviously heard a lot about your game, what you can bring to the table, man. I think it's time we roll into some highlights. What you think?
Definitely looking forward to seeing these highlights. Check it out.
Def.
Draper knows he's on the cusp of becoming a household name, and that is fuel to his fire. Now this season, he's the go-to guy for the Wolves as only a junior. Ramere Draper averaged 25 points per game. He never dreamed that he could keep that production up during his first season on varsity, but he has. He's now averaging 23 and 12 rebounds a game this season, and he's one of the best kept secrets. in Penn State. And he's one of the best kept secrets in Penn State. Fire. And he's one of the best kept secrets in Penn State. He's one of the best kept secrets in Penn State. And he's one of the best kept secrets in the entire state.
Okay, now those are some serious highlights.
Looking tough. Definitely looking tough. Most def. So obviously we saw some definitely some super sweet highlights from you, man. We definitely appreciate you taking the time and chopping it up with us here. What's some of the final thoughts you got for us, man?
Ramere, what I want you to do real quick, man, on your way out is this is your opportunity to let the state know what kind of ballers come out of Grand Rapids, man. You know what I'm saying? Well, let them know what type of ball player you are, and again, what type of ball players come out of your city.
Well, the top most elite ballers come out of Grand Rapids, and it's a lot of us out here, and they're going to wake up and see that soon.
All right, that's what I'm talking about, man. Hey, Ramere, I appreciate you being on What Up Though Sports. It's been a pleasure having you. And, let's go ahead and continue watching you blossom throughout this junior year and be prepared to see what type of player you become your senior year. We're definitely going to keep our eyes open and our ears open about Ramere Draper. And we're going to make sure that we leave that door open for you to come on back next season when you become the All-American that everybody's talking about. It's all about the time and effort you put into being a better player, man. And I'm pretty sure you will reach your goals, Ramere. Thanks for coming to What Up Though Sports.
Thank you.